Oh shit. Oh, we are live. We are live. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second edition Nighttime with Napo, a spinoff of the Hello, Can You Hear Me? The pod. And I got a few good men with me. A few good men here with me today. We're here to talk some shit, man. But first, I'm gonna set the tone. Y'all know how I do. I like to set the tone. So without further ado, man, let's rock out. We here to pod. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time tonight. We'll have a good time. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Let's go.
Talk to him, man. I said I'm here to pod tonight. I'm having a good time. We gonna talk to him. And it goes.
But I tried to tell you so. Yes, I did. But I guess you didn't know. As I said, the story goes. Baby, now I got the flow. Cause I know it from the start. Baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again. I'm sure that
And it goes.
All those times I said that I love
How do you go?
Yes, I try. Yes, I try.
Let's go.
You gonna sing the hook like you said, you gonna sing the hook like you said. Here we go.
Yes, I cry. Yes, I cry.
New York City. Thank y'all for joining us. I'm happy to be here. Hey.
Once again, return about the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here with a good few men. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Best pod you never heard. I'm just here to set the vibe. I just want to talk to people. There we go. What's up? What we doing? I was cleaning the crib earlier. This came on.
Happened so naturally. Didn't I know it was love?
40 and up only. 40 and up only.
I'm 39, baby. I'm still in my 30s.
Now we fly through the stars. But this night will last forever. I've been waiting for you. It's been so long. I knew just what I would do when I heard your song.
We getting ready to start. Right after the hook, we're going to start. Right after the hook.
Freedom.
Get it.
Could not resist. I needed someone.
My wife holding it down in the
Now
front.
flying through the stars.
Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Love you. What's up? And it go. Hey.
Ain't nobody loves me better. Makes me
I was in the crib earlier today. This came on.
feel
This is my vibe.
Ain't nobody loves me better.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Once again, welcome to the second edition of Nighttime with Napo, a spinoff of the Hello, Can You Hear Me? The pod. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Do not make that red. We want to see you here. Also, if you're watching on Twitter, make sure you hit that like. Make sure you retweet or repost. It's not Twitter anymore. And if you're on Facebook, do the same thing. If you're old like us, if you're 40 and up and you use the Facebook, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, all of that good shit. Once again, my name is Eddie Knapp. I am here with my brothers. And look, I've told y'all before, if you see me podding with anybody on these mics, they know me 10, 15, 20 years plus. I'm not one of y'all. I don't got to switch up the friend group every 2-3 years because I did some sucker shit. Huh? What's going on? I got my brother Adi in the building. What's good, man? How you feeling?
What's going on, baby? What's going on? Spring 03, what up?
Spring 03, my brother. Man, damn, it's 20 years.
20
years.
That's a bit.
Rocking for 20 years. Yo, you when I met you, you were a young heartthrob, and you still a heartthrob, but you the family man now. You the family man.
Yeah.
But still a heartthrob. I see you. And we have a current heartthrob. an official IG model,
Still
the
doing
thought.
it.
You know him from the Delta flights where he's giving the baddies the extra little liquor packets. Yeah, you know what's good. We got my man the OG Juan in the building. Juan, what's good, man?
What's going on, bro? How you
Yo,
good?
I'm happy. First of all, thank both of y'all for joining. This is shit that we've talked about for years, right? Like we always talk about, yo, we got a pod, we got to come, and because this is what we do. This is what a quarter of the group chat, or half of the group chat, right? A couple gentlemen are missing. Maybe they'll join us later, but we've been talking about just hopping on and taking our offline conversations online for quite some time. So I'm happy that we finally got a chance to do it, man. So thank y'all for joining. But first, I want to get into a little bit about Juan, because my favorite shit about scrolling through the timeline is the Juan thirst trap. And so I want you to take me through the mentality, right? Because I've never posted a thirst trap. Like I've been married a long time, like me and my wife, so I don't have the need to post the thirst trap. And quite frankly, I don't know the angles. I can't do it. So, but your thirst traps are elite. It's amazing.
Yo.
Talk to me a little bit about that. I want to know, how do you know this is the one that I'm gonna post? And then talk to me a little bit about the responses you get.
Nah, it's nothing like that serious. Ain't no trapping here, and I'm just, since I'm a flight attendant, I get to travel the world, and I'm just trying to, share my experience with everybody. And
that's it. And if they see you, they can share the experience with you, right? I know what we're doing.
And then especially after this holiday weekend, I know everybody, spend a good time with the family, and then I had to go to work, so it was a nice little getaway. So I was by the pool, so just took a quick flick, just to let people know I'm enjoying the sun.
By the pool while I'm over here blowing leaves in this cold brick weather. I see you smiling out here.
It's nasty out here. Hold on, my wife just texted me. Oh, I thought she was watching. I thought she was going to tell me, "Oh, thank you for the shout out during the intro." And she's telling me what I need to pick shit up at the supermarket tomorrow morning. Like she just sent me a whole list. So yeah,
the honey-do list.
The honey-do list.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker because I get like the long text message, like bullet points. Hold on 1 second, because of course. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So Dante's watching. So
so what you saying is that you got the Walgreens receipt message of all the stuff.
Oh, facts.
You ever got a Walgreens receipt where it comes like 2 feet for one item you bought?
The whole shit. Yeah, man. I got to pick up bananas. I got to pick up tangerines, Jello, cinnamon oatmeal that she likes, right? What else? Stonyfield strawberry banana yogurt for the kids. Yes, I got some work to do tomorrow, but it's cool. I'm off, man. I am off work, which feels great. I don't really take vacations much, so the only time, that's why I think I had 3 kids, because like that's the only time I really get to take off work, is I get to put in for the FMLA, right? So I'm off, man, for another couple of weeks. It feels amazing. But man, so what do y'all got going on, man? Adi, what's good, man? How is family life treating you?
Yo, it's hard work, bro. I got a 10-year-old, and now he's about to be 1 year old. The baby, and it's a spectrum, bro. It's a lot.
Hey. Yeah, and that's a big gap. And how is he with the little one? Is he like
big bro?
Active?
Big bro's active, man. I mean,
activates right away, right? Like it's crazy.
Yeah. He likes to, and the baby looks up to him, follows him around. He gets a little rough with him as well now, so it's good.
As he should.
I had to tone Noah down a little bit because Noah, he thought he was full force at 3 months. Right. But other than that, everything's going well.
It's like that with
no sleep.
It's like that. I don't gotta worry too much about Dante, but I gotta worry about Sabrina with the baby, because she thinks he's just ready to play right now. And so like she's like, oh yeah, no, it's go time. And it's like, no, you gotta chill out a little bit. You gotta chill out. So, but yeah, definitely having multiple kids is a different level. And now being outnumbered is like we're really starting to figure out like holy shit. Like when you're outnumbered, it's like you're forced to play zone. You can't man to man anymore. You got to play zone. And so there's some plays to they're gonna gain some yards. There's nothing you can do. I just got to keep them out the end zone.
They playing that triangle on you. That's what it is.
Facts. You can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them, right? But yeah, no, that's what it is. But nah, Dante has been amazing in his big brother role. It's wild because like we talk about like how really quickly, as men and women, right? Like how you switch into that, like for a man, you switch into that provider role. The women, they switch into that nurturing role, and it's automatic. But we don't think about the kids and how it affects them and how they kind of just jump into their roles, right? So that's really been fun to watch over the last 2 weeks that Mikey's been here. So that's super dope. But all right, so enough of the family chat and the small chat. We are here to talk about. So normally, what I do on the nighttime with Napo, I like to just have theme shows, right? So yesterday was all about battle rap, right? And so that was a solo show because unfortunately, I don't got many friends that like battle rap. So I was kind of just going through all the different things that I am excited about. But today I wanted to focus on some sports because there's been a lot of things that have been happening since I've been away on paternity leave. And so I wanted to get you gentlemen on with me to get your take. Now, look, to anybody who's watching this now or who will stumble upon this video, we're all three of us are Yankees fans. We are Yankees fans. So we are speaking from the perspective of Yankees fans. So if you are looking for balanced, nuanced takes, you in the wrong fucking spot. All right. So we are going to talk these first couple of topics, really Yankee specific, but I have to get my guys' takes on these. Now, we've kind of been going back and forth on this, in the group chat, Brian Cashman. So when the season ended, right, obviously the Yankees had a terrible season by their standards, right? 82-80. They missed the playoffs. It was just a really disgusting performance for a team that had World Series aspirations. They didn't win a division. They didn't make the playoffs. They did nothing. The only thing they did was secure a winning season, right? So, and naturally, everybody turns to, hey, end of the season. What is the tone of the organization going to be once the off season kicks off, right? And so generally the Yankees are really good at this. They do a press conference where they kind of set the tone and the expectations for what the off season is. They put a ribbon on the previous season and they set the expectations going forward. And this one took a wild turn, to say the least, right? And so I've got a couple of clips here that I want to play, and then I want to get your take on it because I mentioned it in a little teaser video. Brian Cashman, who is normally very reserved and really measures every syllable that comes out of his mouth, he went full op mode, and he completely lost it, right? And so I want to play some clips here, and of course now my clips are not coming up. Give me 1 second here, but I want to play this. This is Brian Cashman speaking with Joel Sherman, and then Juan, I want to go right to you and get your take on what we just listened to.
But the example you want to say right now is Volpe, I guess, and Cabrera. Those are the two, right?
Peraza. Like if they were performing, they would have kept getting more at bats. They didn't perform, and they didn't.
But Peraza's not getting everyday reps. Right. He's got Glaber, he's got Volpe now, he's got LeMahieu. Prior to that was Donaldson. There was not a lane for him to even play. So I don't even know why you use Peraza.
Well, these are your young players.
I understand that, but he's got to have a spot to play for you to be able to use his name.
If he would have hit, he would have played more. He didn't hit, so he didn't play more, right?
Well, where's he going to play?
Well, if he hit, he would have played.
Who would he, if he hit, Like is Abbott Costello. If he hit, who's he taking out? LeMahieu at third? Is he taking out Volpe at short?
And you guys can't see this, but I mean, Brian's face is just incredulous. He is annoyed that he's being challenged, and he wants to fight.
Is he taking out Gleyber Torres, who was one of the best second basemen in the American League last year?
If you want to win, you're going to play the guys who are hitting. If he hit, he would have played, right?
I guess if he hit better than Volpe, he would have played shortstop, and he would have won the thing out of spring training. But Volpe won it out of spring training. I think it's a stupid discussion we're having, personally.
So that's Brian Cashman. And so right after they stopped taping, I have it confirmed that Brian Cashman told Joel Sherman to suck his dick and challenged him to a fist fight outside of Yankee Stadium. But what do you think about his defense there, particularly with the Peraza situation and just his overall roster construction? I'll go to Juan and then Adi.
I think the roster construction was horrible. Like they went into the season giving Volpe the starting shortstop job because they were trying to sell basically like he was the second reincarnation of Jeter. You know, he's a homegrown kid and he's from Jersey and all of this, and he's a good kid. So they wanted to give him shortstop. Volpe struggled at first, and they never like took away the job or anything like that. The whole thing was Donaldson, like Peraza never got a shot. So like if he came up for a week or he hit for a week, then they would send him back down. Like what they were saying, what they asked him was true. Is like if he hit, where are you gonna put him? DJ had one of his worst seasons this year, and he was still in the lineup. Gleyber was pretty much an all-star, so you have to play him as second. And then where else are you gonna put Peraza? They had Donaldson all year until fucking July before they finally decide to cut him. When they should have did that, they should have never even traded for Donaldson. But it was like, they wanted to. He's trying to defend what he was saying. Peraza didn't hit. None of the Yankees hit. The Yankees were like in the bottom 3 out of all the teams in the American League. I mean, in Major League Baseball with like batting average, run scores, like all of that. And if you take out Judge from those numbers, they're probably the worst team in the majors. Like Judge and GT were the best Yankee offensively. Besides them, like we're in the bottom of pretty much every statistical category as far as hitters. So to say that Peraza didn't hit, no one else hit. So he's just trying to like cover his ass. He feels like that he's getting attacked, so he's trying like, well, Peraza didn't hit. Look at his plate appearances, and the numbers for young players, they need time to develop, to adjust. Volpe struggled early on, and then he started to pick it up. He still was able to finish with like a 2020 season, even though he had like a around 200 average. So like his average wasn't high, but he still stole bases. He hit home runs. So like that, it was kind of productive. He won a Gold Glove, which is another story. But like, yeah, like I feel like they just trying to like show you one thing and it's smoke and mirrors. There's always smoke and mirrors with the Yankees, especially this time where they're selling us false dreams or saying that we had a great fucking team, which is the dumbest quote ever. When we were like the
I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that's pretty much like, about the construction. Like that's how I feel. They went into it giving Volpe the job at short from spring training. And then after that, Peraza pretty much had no shot until Donaldson got hurt, quote unquote. Like he got the Ellsbury injury. So like then Peraza was able to play more, but he was playing a little out of position. So maybe that altered like his offense. But,
right, and it feels like Cash is speaking out of both sides of his mouth, to your point, right? Because he's like, oh well, there's nowhere for him to play. But when Peraza is raking in AAA, right, and this is the point, because I remember in the group chat, and Adi, I want you to jump in on this, right? We were screaming. I mean, I think at one point Peraza was hitting 350 in AAA, and he could not crack the major leagues, and so Brian Cashman's argument of, well, who was he going to replace? You can't take out, you have DJ, you have Gleyber, you have Volpe, you have Donaldson. Well, that's your fucking problem, right? Like you did that. You did that. So, there's just a lack of accountability, I think was frustrating from my perspective. But Adi, what did you think about that?
Yeah, like I'm going to start off with saying I was always one of those dudes that was like, in Cash I trust, right? from the get out. For a while, I was like that, but this, I think it's the wheels are falling off now, right? Cashman, I think it's at a point where he feels like he can't do no wrong, and if you challenge him, like this reporter did, we fighting, and I'm telling you to suck my dick, right? I think it was a bogus excuse, dude. You put that roadblock of Donaldson in front of Peraza. You messed up on that one, right? And I think it's just continue of like, oh, I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna get it right. Even with the Volpe situation, I felt like, yeah, Volpe had a better spring than Peraza, and you saw the buzz that Volpe was bringing you, and you betted on your team because I think that Cashman still thinks that this is a good team, and I felt they put Volpe up to fail in a sense, right? They needed him to hit. They needed him to do what he did. When I
Agreed.
felt like the big dudes were not there. Rizzo was nowhere to be found. You know, I get the whole concussion stuff. Donaldson looks old. LeMahieu as well. That machine needs oil or something. So I think him not wanting to play the young dudes, it makes no sense when you're holding them when you could have traded for somebody else. If you want the old dudes, trade for them. But don't stop
right,
holding
and
these young cats.
it's wild, right? Because like I feel like, and this goes back to to my point of Cashman speaking out of both sides of his mouth, where I feel like the Yankees have been kind of caught, in between and not really knowing what they want to do, right? Like in one sense, they're prospect hugging, right? And they're refusing to move prospects and we can go through the litany of names, right? Machado, Harper, Correa, right? Like there were so many guys that were available that we did not want to part ways with our prospects. So in one sense, we're prospect hugging, we're refusing to part ways with them, but then we're not opening lanes for them to play and help the team and grow. So that is a super frustrating part. And again, it's just a lack of accountability, I think, for me. And his tone, part of me, and I feel two ways about this, and I want to get to one more clip, but I feel two ways about the Cashman thing. Like part of me likes it, right? Like part of me likes it, like, yeah, you know what? Don't bend the knee. Come out there and talk crazy to these people and let's be the big bad Yankees, right? But then there's another part of me that's like, you got to kind of understand that what you're doing, the status quo, is not going to work, and you have to take accountability. And so I don't know what to think about this, right? Because I don't know if this tone signifies a change in the way they're going to do things, and they're going to kind of go back to the old way of being the Yankees, or if this is just a straight up doubling down and is the status quo is going to continue, right? And so this offseason is going to tell us a lot about what Cashman thinks, right? So I don't know if he feels like he just can't be fired, and so he's going to talk crazy because he's had his job for 30 years, or if he feels like, hey, you know what, we're making the changes, and I'm gonna change the way I communicate to signify that that we're changing from the top down. So the moves are gonna dictate that. But I want to play one clip here because I think it's the one that everybody kind of got frustrated by.
So I think we have good baseball people, whether they're pro scouts, whether they're coaches, whether they're the manager, whether they're the general manager, whether they're analytics guys. I think we have good people. I'm getting permission requests all over the place. We just lost our bench coach to the Mets as a manager. I've got analytics guys trying to be poached to other clubs right now. Our player development program, no different than other places. But again, reinforcement that we got good people. I'm proud of our people, and I'm proud of our process. Doesn't mean we're firing on all cylinders. Doesn't mean we're the best in class. But I think we're pretty good personally. And
so again, right, like that doesn't lead me to think that we're going to see wholesale changes. What do you guys think?
So, all right, I got a few things because I feel like, all right, and Cashman has been GM for the Yankees for over 20 years, almost 30 years, right? And this is the first time he's ever like been this outspoken as far as like, especially with the cursing and just like turning heel, pretty much. So this has to mean like he's always in the last few years like we always felt like Cashman was gone. So he was always trying to like do stuff to protect his job. Now it almost feels like his job is secured, so he could just tell people suck his dick. Like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and the Steinbrenners are backing me, so like it is what it is. So like that's what I'm saying on that aspect, as far as like Cashman doing what he wants because he feels like he's untouchable at this point. He hasn't won anything since '09, which should not make him untouchable. But anyways, and then as far as like that comment that he thinks that his team is fucking good, if you look at the numbers, like the pitching did great last year, but as far as hitting, again, we were one of the worst teams. He says like we have a great analytical team, and in that same interview, he was talking about like they have one of the biggest analytical departments in or one of the smallest. It was
the
something
smallest.
he said,
One of
the
the smallest. Yeah.
but that they don't trust on the analytics. So it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. You can have the biggest analytical team, but like, what are you doing with the numbers? Like that's all it comes down to. Like you could have all this data, but like what numbers are you using? And the numbers that you're using for the analytics are not helping. So then maybe switch it off. And then when he said about the that they were going to dive into that and thinking that they were going to get an outside source, and then they just said that just to keep like getting our hopes up, like, oh shit, there's going to be a shakeup because we know the analytics team sucks because Boone has been horrible with the numbers and everything. So like we're like, all right, there's gonna be a shakeup, and then he comes back and says, oh, we have one of the smallest departments, like pretty much saying everything is good, and he's going back on this saying we have a pretty fucking good team. If we were healthy, like we make the playoffs. If Judge doesn't get hurt, we make the playoffs. But can we be like serious enough, realistic enough to say that we were World Series like real threat to win the World Series? No, like you can get hot and then you can win it all, but like I didn't think we were really a World Series contender if we make the playoffs, just because we had so many question marks as far as starting pitching and then just hitting. Besides Judge, everything is like no one comes to the Yankees and look at this lineup and there's no fear. Like back in the '90s, early 2000, like it was like you look at this lineup like, damn, like I don't get a break. And this lineup now, this is a joke because you can go through it. All right, I'll walk Judge, and like I'll pitch right to everybody. Stanton can't hit nothing. He's LeMahieu's already like he's either still hurt from last year, never recovered, or he's already like in the back end of his career, which we still have like 3 years left. And then like all the other young guys, like they still haven't reached that potential yet. So like our lineup is just shit. And he's backing it that we have a good team, but we don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jake Bowers hit number 3 for the lineup for a good chunk of the year. I think that's
Willie Calhoun.
Willie Calhoun. Yeah, I mean
Frenchie.
Yeah. It was a joke. A complete joke.
So my take was in this interview, though, at least he's going back to being Cashman, right? Although he's still being kind of like stubborn, he's talking through both sides of his mouth, because I think at this point he's letting you know, like, yeah, we got the smallest analytic team, but all it takes is one dude to write up these numbers and you're gonna follow it, right? So it doesn't matter how big the department is and whatnot, right? And I think when he spoke about, like, he made it seem like it's a 2-team job, right? It's analytics and scouting. We're not seeing that, but I think. And in the interview, I think when he said we got a pretty good fucking team, I think that's what he meant. He meant that we got a good analytics team and we got a good scouting team. And if the stars align, we should have been the World Series champs that they believe they would be. Right. And when it falls, they have something to fall back on. I think the Judge injury was a big one. The fact that people got hurt is one of them. And he's not owning up to all his mess ups. Like, dude, IKF was playing center field for the Yankees.
Look, and right. So IKF was playing center field, for the Yankees, which was a joke, right? And then if you want to talk about center field, right, it's whatever metrics they're using to analyze what players they should bring in is clearly faulty, right? Because they traded away Jordan Montgomery, who is a World Series champion now, for a guy who we liked him when he was healthy, but he was hurt when we made the trade, and he was consistently hurt the entire time. I mean, we ended up putting him on waivers and letting him go for damn near nothing, right? So that's one. The move for Josh Donaldson, whatever metrics they were looking at, whatever analytics they were looking at that told them that was a good idea, somebody should have been fired, right? Frankie Montas, he was hurt, right? It's like at
Yo, that
what
medical
point
team, the medical team there, right?
Rodon, Rodon, right? Like what is going on here? So clearly, at some like there, we have to take a look within and say, hey, the things that we're doing to evaluate players that we want to bring into this organization needs to change, right? And one last point on this before we switch gears on what we think is going to happen this offseason and going forward. If you are serious about bringing in an outside firm to audit your baseball operations, you are not making personnel decisions before that audit has even started, right? And so, and they made personnel decisions with their manager, with the hitting coach, with the bench coach, right? Like they've done a few things that tell me that this is just window dressing, and I'm still agnostic as to whether or not things are going to change, because I kind of feel like Hal is annoyed, but I don't know if he's annoyed enough for full wholesale changes, right? And so I think that brings us into our next topic pretty nicely. Segue King, huh? This is only episode number 2, and I'm doing the segues like this. But what do we think about the Yankees' plans and needs going forward, right? So there are a couple of players that are linked to the Yankees as well as everybody else. So I want to go through them one by one. I want to get your take on them. And then I'll give you guys my take on what I think we should do with those players. But we will start with the darling of the trade market, not the free agent market, the darling of the trade market, Juan Soto. Today, John Heyman, and I got into a little Twitter spat with John Heyman today. I told him to shut his ugly face because he came out and said that he believes that the Yankees should not go after Juan Soto. And I just want to read an excerpt from his let's see here. I just want to read an excerpt from his article, and then I want to pass it to Juan and Adi for the take on the article, and then Juan Soto overall as it relates to the Yankees, right? So he writes, the question is whether you want to give up a combination of promising young players for a rent-a-hitter with a likely $32 million price tag via arbitration. So again, prospect hugging. One rival GM guessed that Soto would cost an interested team 2 top 100 prospects or comparable young players. So for the Yankees, that would mean some combination of Anthony Volpe, Jason Dominguez, outfielder Spencer Jones, and right-hander Drew Thorpe. Baseball writer Hector Gomez tied the Mets and the Giants as well, but we don't give a fuck about the Mets or the Giants. But again, as for the Yankees, he writes, while it's tempting to want to combine Soto with Aaron Judge, hell fucking yeah, it's tempting, to give the Yankees the most formidable 1-2 punch, at least for a year, he thinks there's a better option. Completely asinine. That'd be free agent Cody Bellinger. Yeah, I want to pause for effect. Pause for effect. I'm going to read that again. That'd be free agent Cody Bellinger, who may not hit as consistently as Soto, but he's a better fit. I wonder why he's a better fit. I'm not gonna play the card. I'm not gonna do it. I just wonder why John Heyman thinks he's a better fit due to his position, his price. Okay, his position, his price, and especially his long-term availability. Sure. We've seen some estimates for Bellinger range up to $220 million, while the expected price tag for Juan Soto, I think he turned down $400 million already. So we expect that price tag to be north. So John Heyman is going the prospect hugging route and thinks the Yankees should not part ways with the names that I mentioned before. for a Juan Soto. He thinks Bellinger is the way. Now, I want to Bellinger is next on my list, so I don't want to focus on that, but I want to focus on Soto, what Heyman said, and what you guys think. And I'll start with Adi.
I think he's trying to get us triggered, man. I think after the season we just witnessed and seeing that we needed a lefty bat, he's messing with us, man. And I think, yes, we need Soto. I don't care what we do. I don't care what prospects we give up. If we're trying to win, right? We're not rebuilding. It's not a rebuilding type of team.
I mean,
we need that.
I need to shuffle.
Yeah.
I need the what is the
exactly.
Yeah, I need that. I need that.
And Heyman's, in between the lines that he's a better fit. I think Soto is a better fit. We need that energy on the Yankees. We need some sazon, bro, for real. And I think that Soto brings that lefty bat.
That's swag.
Like, yes, I get giddy when I hear Soto Judge. That sounds sheesh, right? So for me, I'm not listening to the haters, and I think he's trying to clickbait you, Ed, and get you hot on your paternity leave. So
that should work.
He's wilding.
That should work. I was screaming at him. What you think, Juan?
All right, I agree. I agree. Like I'm all for Soto. Like I fucking love Soto. He brings so much that we don't have. Meaning he's a lefty power bat. He's high average. He brings energy. So it's like, and he's when he's right, he's like a top 5 player in baseball. So like he won a World Series by himself at 19 years old. That's just his track record. Yeah, he's been struggling a little bit, but look at where he's playing at. He's playing in San Diego, which is one of the worst hitters ballpark in baseball. And if you look at his numbers on the road, they're like on line with his career average. So it's like, it's the ballpark that's hindering his numbers. And as far as like what Heyman is saying with the prospects, like what I've been like following as far as to San Diego, they're not looking for any hitters. They're looking for pitchers. So like we can do this trade and we cannot give up Dominguez, Volpe, like and Spencer Jones. We can do this. We could give up Thorpe. We can give up. Probably gonna have to give up like Schmidt or King. Like we got to give up one of those, and it's not because they want basically San Diego. They want prospects that are major league ready because they have the hitting. They need pitching to like just slide them right into the rotation or into the bullpen, and they can like kind of work with what they have as far as hitters, and then have premium or high octane pitchers. So like I would. Like if you're gonna like get Soto, then that means you can go after a pitcher. Whether we'll probably get there with Yamamoto or the other dude from Japan, the lefty kid. But like, or you can get another pitcher. Like those are easy to kind of like to replace. But Soto is a generational talent, and I think we should go out and try to do as much as we can. And I feel like once we trade for him, it's gonna be easier to sign him. We can't take the risk of we can get him in free agency, which probably won't happen because whatever we do this off season is going to limit us from doing something the next season. So yeah, I'm all in on the Soto, and I'll give up our 2 to 3 of our best pitching prospects to get it done. That protection right there with like on Judge is going to be like no other player can do what Soto can do protecting Judge in the lineup.
Yeah, no, I am with you. I think Soto is the missing puzzle piece. He is the key to the Yankee lineup. I mean, we screamed for the last couple of years about the lack of just real lefty pop. I'm old enough to remember when Brian Cashman used to call the big lefty home run hitters big hairy monsters, and he liked to build his team around the big hairy monsters, right? And you guys remember that. And so, Soto's the big hairy monster, and he's available. And
in his prime,
in his prime, and
25 years old. So for the next 10 years,
he wants to come. And he wants to come.
That's the fact. And the fact of the matter is look, I like the prospects. I like the kids as much as the next guy, but the window is closing on Cole. The window is closing on Judge. These guys are over 30 years old. And so we have to pull the trigger now. And so, Juan, I understand what you're saying that, it's pitcher heavy. And so, a Schmidt or a Kinger have to go and have to be in there. But let me be very clear. There is not, you cannot give me a name on the 40-man roster that would prevent me from making the trade outside of like Aaron Judge, right? Like, so there is nobody on this on the roster that I look at. I'm like, nah, I'm not making the trade for Soto. As much as it pains me, if I had to part with the Martian, I would do it. I don't want to, but I would, and I would do it, and I would sleep like a baby the next night. That's a fact. That's a fact. So Soto is the guy. I don't think there should be any excuse. I think, like you said, Heyman was trolling. He, that was clickbait. And for me, I'm not worried about the Yankees' ability to sign Soto once we get him in house. Once we get him in house, I think signing him is going to be, a fait accompli. I wouldn't be surprised if now look, he's got Boris, right? Boris is his agent, so he's not going to sign. He's going to go to free agent. He's going to play the game, and he's going to make a sweat. But ultimately, I think if he comes here, he's going to stay. I think it'd be harder to pry him away from whatever team trades for him and makes that a big commitment to him in terms of prospects. I think it'll be harder to pry him away in free agency than if we have him here, and then it's like, all right, you know what? We just had a really good year. We might have won a World Series, or we might be really close. Hey, let's get this done. So I'm not worried at all about signing him.
What team, like, all right, since I know we're talking mostly about the Yankees, but what are the teams you think have the potential to trade for him and then maybe sign him? Because like most teams, if you're gonna trade for him, you're gonna probably try to sign him as well long term, because you don't want to like give up your top prospects.
I think it's short. Yep, I think it's a short list, right? Like it's the Mets. It's the Mets. I think it's the Dodgers, right? I'm not sure who else, right? Would be in that mix with some money, but I would imagine the Mets would be in that mix if they could be.
I just don't know if they have the pieces, to be honest.
Yeah,
right. Well, I mean, they just rebuilt their farm system, right? I mean,
not really. I mean, they added.
If you listen to Mike Nadal, shout out to our man Mike. Shout out to our man Mike.
Yo, they got the real Acuna, right?
The real Acuna.
They got the real Acuna.
They got the real one. Yeah, they're waiting for him to crack the major leagues, but he's the real one. Yeah, I know.
Not like the junior.
I think it's a short list of teams that
never the junior.
It is probably like maybe like the Giants, the Red Sox, Yankees. Like those are like the big market teams. Are not, they're the only ones that give out $300 to $400 million contracts. So and then it's like, that's why I guess we're the favorite, because he's much of a need for us as now more than ever.
It just makes sense.
And like we haven't shown it in the last few years, but we have the pockets to to be able to sign him, and we do have the needs that San Diego needs, that wants it for their needs. Yeah.
Really quickly before we move on, I'll pose it to Adi and Juan. Any concern about Soto in the big market in New York City, Washington Heights, Dominican, just bugging out, wilding out? Any worries about that affecting his play?
No, because I mean, I think you saw him with Machado, with Tatis in San Diego, which is they party up too, and everywhere they go, they will party. And I think he's professional, and he's won a World Series, so he knows.
But the New York media is different. New York media is different. The New York media is different.
It's different, but I also feel like he's primed already. You know what I mean? Like he's in his prime. He's won a World Series, so he has his credentials in order. And I mean, honestly, I think that's a myth nowadays. That's a myth, bro. Those Dominicans coming to New York and wilding out. I don't think it's like that, man.
No, yeah, I agree. I think he'll be fine. Like he likes the stardom, with his shuffle, like that he signatured it, like where he made it and copywritten and all that. So like he's ready for that stardom, and he likes that attention. He knows he's one of the best hitters, so he's not like if he was someone who came and he went to like he came from a small market in Washington, but like he loved the attention and he likes to to boast of the pitchers, like throw strikes, Perel, like he wants that shit, like he loves that shit, and I feel like he feeds off it. And I know like he's gonna love partying in the heights and shit, but like I feel like he
He's not a
needs
big party dude though. He's not a
yeah,
big party dude.
but he likes the limelight, and I feel like he'll do great in
Yes.
in New York.
So do I. No, I absolutely I agree with that. I think Soto is the perfect fit for the Yankees. So I don't see any reason why they would not go balls to the walls for him. So all right, so we're all in agreement. Soto is the guy. There's nobody that stands in the way. I'm gonna get to Yamamoto, but before I get to Yamamoto, let's talk Cody Bellinger, right? Because that's the other guy on the list. Lefty, outfielder, had a tremendous bounce back season this year. What do we think about Cody Bellinger?
I
He
think
just
this
wanted to come back play the year, like I think yesterday or whatever for last year, but I'm not sold on him. Yeah, he had like his first 2 years that he won the MVP, or he almost won the MVP with his
So
numbers.
Well, so all right, so hold on. Let me let me because I've got his numbers here.
Yeah.
That so I wanted to talk. So in his career, right? So 7 years, he's finished in the he's finished in the top 10 MVP 3 times. His rookie year, where he won the rookie of the year, he finished ninth in the MVP voting. A couple of years later, in 2019, his best year, he won the MVP. Right, that was the year he hit what was it? 47 home runs. Yeah, he went stupid. 47 home runs, OPS of 1.035, led the league in total bases with 350. I mean, he went stupid that year, right? But then he had a little bit of a fall off, right? 2020, we won't hold it against him. That was the COVID year. But 2021, I mean, he had 165 in 95 games. He had 210 in 144 games in 2022. And then he bounced back and finished top 10 in the MVP this year. He finished 10th, top 10 in the MVP. He won a Silver Slugger Award, and he slashed 307, 356, 525 with a very respectable OPS of 881, 26 home runs, 97 RBI. So the question is, who's the real Cody Bellinger, right? Is it 2019, 2023, or is it 2021, 2022, Cody?
Yeah, my take is that he's what the Yankees love, right? The bounce back guy, like, yo, we could prove to you with the numbers that he's good, right? Also, the last name matters in this situation. The last name matters.
Shout out to his pops. Shout out to his pops,
too, right? So I think this is like
I can't be mad at that.
This is when you see that the Yankees like start drooling off of dudes, right? And I think if we want to see a change, I got to stop. That's the way I say. I'm not saying I don't know. I'm not. I don't even know if I believe that he could come back again. But I don't know, man. I also, towards the end of his career in LA, the media was getting to him, right? So that's something that like also I think like. But I know that this is the kind of guy. This is like tailor made for the Yankees right now, right? Bounce back year. If they really wanted him, they should have traded for him before the deadline when the Cubs didn't know what they wanted to do.
That's a fact.
That's my point. That's all.
That's
a fact. Yeah, I agree with Adi 100%. Basically, this is the player the Yankees always sign. The person they have ties to the Yankees, homegrown kid, and and they overpay for him because no one else is gonna pay him what they want. And then when he gets to the Yankees, he's ass. Like he can't handle the market, he can't handle the heat. Kind of like a Joey Gallo, kind of like with all so much potential. But when they play in New York, they're ass. And then we're gonna be stuck with him for 6 years, giving him $30-something million a year. And it's like, fuck, now we have another strikeout king where, we got, 3 or 4 guys in the lineup who's just striking out or hitting home runs. We need someone that can hit for average, get on base. Like, yeah, he's a good defender, play center field, but we don't need a center fielder now. We just because we have the Martian coming up in 2025 probably. But
We
like,
may, but I mean, he may be in a Soto deal. He may be in a Soto deal, right? Like, so
Facts.
no, he's not gonna be in a solo deal. I don't think
I
so.
don't know.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know. I hope
but
not. I hope not. But
Juan.
Bellinger, I don't like Bellinger. Like
Juan, let me ask
he's
you before we move on. Let me ask you: Is Dominguez a red line for you? Where would you walk away from a Soto deal to keep Dominguez, or would you include him in the package? If
I
if
would include
if
him,
if,
but
if that was the deal breaker.
I think you
no,
got to see the
like
package.
I would include him. But like, all right, think about it from San
We're on the
Diego's
same
point.
page.
Why are you gonna trade
No,
for a
I'm
hurt
with you.
player?
I'm with you. I'm with you there.
Him
I'm with
getting
you
hurt
in what they
like
want.
kind of help us, like a blessing in
Yeah,
disguise almost. Where
I agree. No,
they
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
with you.
Yo,
And
Ed,
like,
I'm completely with you there.
one more point with Bellinger. I feel like
Yeah.
any other year I'll be with it too, though, right?
Yeah.
But the Yankees have missed so much that we can't afford to miss again.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel
Well,
like we can't look too far. I know he's a pitcher, but yo, Rondon was a miss,
whew,
right? And we paying this dude, so we can't do that again. So we can't go down that
yeah.
route.
Look,
That's
so here's my take on Bellinger. Right, like I agree with everything you say. Like he is the guy that they normally go after, right? And I'm not mad at it, right? Like I kind of like the maybe I'm a sucker, right? Like I kind of like the fact that his pops was Clay Bellinger, right? Like I'm very fond of Clay from his time. I mean, won a bunch of was a good little role player for us, right? Like the type of guy that you have an affinity for, right? So I like the fact that he comes from that. But so here's my take on Bellinger. I'm cool with Bellinger so long as it does not prohibit a Soto move. So if you tell me you're getting Soto and Bellinger,
with it.
then I'm rolling. I'm rolling. But Bellinger cannot be the move to say, hey, I didn't get Soto because we got Bellinger. That is just not gonna fly with me or the fan base. And I think Juan, I think you're in lockstep with that. So
but that doesn't make sense though. Like Soto and Bellinger, it doesn't make
well,
sense.
again, that's it. But that's in the world where you lose Dominguez. That's in a world where you lose Dominguez.
Actually, wait. Let me take that back because I just was thinking in my head, where would people play? You don't lose Dominguez because one, we have Rizzo for 2 more years, so you can play move Bellinger to first base.
First base. There you go.
You have Dominguez in center, and then
There you go.
on left. But you're gonna need first base for DJ anyway. But that's another option. But then that means we don't get no pitching. So it's like you got to pick and choose, and we need some bullpen work.
So I'm glad you mentioned that, right? Because pitching, right? Pitching. There are some names on the market. Yankees have been tied to a few names on the market. Namely, for me, I would like to see a reunion with Jordan Montgomery. I was never happy with that trade. I don't see a reason why we couldn't make a reunion happen. But the media does not seem to think that's likely. Montgomery, to his credit, I think came out and said, "Hey, I've got no hard feelings with the Yankees. I love my time with the Yankees, and I'd absolutely talk to them." And they have been linked to Jordan Montgomery. So for me, I would love to see a reunion with Jordan Montgomery. But the name that everybody is talking about is the Japanese sensation. His first name escapes me, but Yamamoto is the guy. I think he just won his 3rd consecutive MVP in the Japan League. I think he's one of only 3 players to do that. So he's him in every sense of the word. There's supposed to be a tremendous bidding war for him. But apparently the Yankees are very hot on him. What do we think about Yamamoto? And what are our chances? Do we think he wants to come here? And do we think it's a good fit? I'll start with Juan.
All right. I'm all in for Yamamoto. Like what he did, we've seen him firsthand at the WBC. Like how he pitched.
I was there.
And how he was able to pitch to major league hitters. So it's like sometimes it doesn't it doesn't like when you pitch in Japan, and it doesn't relate to the same. It's not the same when you come to the U.S. But like he showed firsthand that he can get big league hitters out. Um, that's my thing. I feel like he's gonna be worth it. And there's only maybe like 4 or 5 teams that are really serious bidders for him just because of what he's gonna command. And he's gonna probably want to go to a big market team just because of his name. And it's probably gonna be on the east or the west coast, due to like the location for Japan and the media outlets. I would love to sign him. I don't know if we shot ourselves in the foot or Cashman shot ourselves in the foot because of the statements with Stanton and how like he said, Stanton's always hurt and whatnot, and like that's the same agent that represents Yamamoto. So and then the agent basically came out and saying, oh, like you should. He said some shit about saying like, oh, basically watch what you're saying because then no other players are gonna want to come to the Yankees, and you could take it as like now like you're gonna either have to pay up more or like he ain't gonna go there because this is how you show respect to your players. Then why people are gonna want to come there, which is kind of true. But Cashman may have not. He just worded it the wrong way, or sometimes you need to shut the fuck up and like not say what you're really thinking. We all know that Stanton is always hurt. Anyways, but that's another thing. Yamamoto.
He just said the quiet part out loud. That's all. Like he's guilty of saying the quiet part out loud because he wasn't wrong.
But he wasn't wrong. But that's some stuff you say. You say it in your house, and that's it. Like that's it. You say it when the doors are closed.
That's for the group chat.
Yeah,
but he's come out with heat, starting with that press conference. So I can see why he's doing it. He no holds bar anymore. But just to go back to this, I think the Yankees signing him will be big moves, right? And possibly showing like, yo, we're gonna open up the wallet. How much is it gonna take, right? Because the bidding war is gonna be there. So I think that'll show us the fan base maybe a little change, a little like, yo, the wallet's opening up, and that the Yankees still got it and getting these big names, right? I mean, I go back to Ohtani when he came. That I felt like, damn, dude picked Angels over us. Like we're the Yankees, right? And look at where that left them at, right? So I mean, I'm with it, man. And this year, of any years, I just want that wallet to open up and let's spend. Let's send the little kids out if needed, and let's at least put a team that's World Series caliber. So
that's a fact.
This dude is the gem from the far east. Bring him down.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think I think they have to go all in with Yamamoto. I think I was watching the Talking Yanks guys. Shout out to John Boy and the Talking Yanks podcast. I think they were kind of intimating at a bidding war that is going to happen between the Yankees and the Mets for the services of Yamamoto. So we have to see how that goes. But I think he is. I think he'd be the perfect 1-2 for to slide in right behind Cole. And I think the Yankees have a really good track record bringing in the Japanese players, right? Like, I mean, we could trot out your man Hideki, right? Like, so, Matsui is a guy that is super. No. But Hideki is a guy that is revered by the Japanese players that are playing right now. Like those guys grew up watching Godzilla. So I think that gives us a little bit of a one up. I don't put too much stock into the comments that Cashman made because look, money's gonna trump all, right? Like if the bread is there and all things are if all things being equal and the offer is there and the bread is there, he's gonna come here. So I'm not worried about that. And I think a lot of times these Japanese dudes they're used to the pressure, right? Because no matter where Yamamoto and I want to end this segment talking a little bit about Ohtani, even though there's not a shot in hell he's coming to New York, but a guy like Yamamoto and a guy like Ohtani, I never worry about them in the big market for this standpoint. They're being followed by a massive amount of media wherever they go. So, I mean, even if they go to a small town, they're bringing with them an immense amount of press just from the Japanese media that's coming and following them. I mean, these guys are freaking rock stars overseas. So, I feel like a guy like Otani looks at LeBron James and the attention that LeBron James gets, and like, man, I wish I could be that anonymous, right? Like that's how crazy it is with Yamamoto and Otani. So I don't think I have zero issues with him performing in New York.
And to your point about the media, right? I think this is the case, and I think Otani is one of those. Ichiro was again, bro. The translator is key for these dudes, right? Because they don't need an answer to these real questions, right? They water those questions down.
That's it. No, I love that because
he's not gonna have to deal with Stephen A. Smith, man. Like Stephen A. Who?
Right. That's Joe Sherman asking crazy questions. Talk to my translator, B. I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. So.
Hey, GM, tell him. Come on, kid.
So
I think on Yamamoto, like I was watching Talking Yank, shout out to them. But like they were talking about they had a post today that the Yankees didn't issue out the number 18 jersey last year.
I saw that.
To be available for Yamamoto. So it goes from Tanaka. Well, Didi wore it for a little bit, but then
Didi had it.
To Yamamoto. That'll be a good transition right there. And then we can welcome in. Like I think like we need this 1-2 punch. Like there's no Rondon. I hated the Rondon signing, but I never thought he was an ace. So like he could be a solid number 2, number 3. Yeah. But like you need that 1-2 punch where you could throw in Cole and Yamamoto, and then you throw in Rondon there. And then that's probably going to mean that Cortez is going to be out because we're not going to be able to afford to sign. Not that we can't afford, but they won't sign them because of the money. And anyway. But
and the Trump stuff.
Yeah, my Yamamoto, he's the one that we got to get. Like, if we get that, would be the perfect off season. Soto and Yamamoto, like Yamamoto, perfect.
Yamamoto 2024. I am with it. I'm banging the drum. And so let's end this segment with the guy that we'd all take, but we don't think he's coming. Otani. Where do you think where do we think he ends up? And why won't it be with the Yankees? I'll start with you.
Go ahead, Adi.
I mean, the fact that he didn't want to come here from the get still rubs me the wrong way. So,
bro, we brought out all the celebrities and shit. Like, if I remember the pitch that we gave him,
the whole
like,
thing,
it was crazy.
Yeah. So that reason, I feel like he won't come here. I mean, I don't see why he would leave the Angels other than trying to win a chip. And you would want to come to New York, but I don't think he's going to go back to that. And I think that, the West Coast has been really good to him. He's been chilling. The Dodgers are right there. That's like probably like an extra train ride or something, but that's it. So, I mean, I really don't see him as a Yankee. I never like put my hopes in that Otani comes here. I mean, we got Judge, bro. You know what I mean? We got that big star, and we got a Cy Young winner. So,
that's a fact. Oh, and you know what? I forgot. I was just really going back to Soto. I forgot. I had it in my head, but you just mentioned Judge. I was like, and just to put a button on Soto, the reason why I am not worried in the slightest about Soto coming to the Yankees is he don't got to be the fucking guy. He is not the guy. Judge is the guy. So you come in and you can be you can be the man. There's going to be space for you to do your thing, but being the face of the franchise, you don't got to do that. You can do your little shuffle. You can hit your 40 home runs. You can make your bread, and you could be a superstar without having the extra pressure of being the face of the franchise on your back. And I think that is super important. So thank you for reminding me about that.
And I think that can also go with Otani as well, right? Otani comes, he's going to be the guy. So, I mean,
yes.
So
Otani is the guy everywhere he goes.
Yeah. So how's that going to ruffle with Judge and Cy Young Cole,
Yeah, no, Judge is going to tell him,
fuck out of here. Yeah. Well, he's going to tell his translator.
Well, what you think? Where's Otani going? And why won't it be the Yankees?
LA.
I mean, I think it's too much bread. Like, because of what he can give you if he's healthy, it's going to be like $500 million going to cost you. which is like
Easy.
depending on how many years, 50 million a year,
I mean,
which is
Soto's going to approach 500. So, I mean,
yeah.
this guy got to get
But
more.
like, and then Otani, like I would have said the Mets, but the Mets are still rebuilding, and I don't think that like he's gonna want to go to the way that they traded like Verlander and Scherzer. Like I don't know if he feels like they're gonna be as serious all the time because they just flipped the whole team real quick. I feel like it's gonna be either the Dodgers, and then there was a lot of noise with the Cubs recently that they're like serious contenders in like pursuing Otani, and be the Giants because he, San Francisco's right there, and they need a face for their team because they don't have any face. They have a lot of young guys, so like he'll fit like the West Coast. San Fran is right there. That would kind of be almost like the three teams because like it comes down to money because he's the man. So you need to go to a big market where they can pay. But like I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Norman because Norman always be coming with the stats. Huge Cub fan.
No.
And
yeah, no, we gotta get Norm up here.
Like he was saying, yeah, you definitely do it. Like, and because I agreed with him on this part, like why any team wouldn't want Otani because of the like, no matter what contract you give him, he's gonna give you that money back just in revenue. Just because, like what you mentioned earlier about his PR teams and all the news outlets, like that's more money to the team. They're gonna need more coverage, all the jersey sales, all of that. Like, they're gonna be watching Yankees baseball in fucking Japan all the time when Otani pitches. Like all of that is just gonna generate so much revenue where you're gonna make in like the first 5 years, you'll make already the 500 million that you're giving him. So it's all is income. So I don't understand why people you can pay those taxes with that.
Agreed. And we know that to be true because we saw it when the Yankees signed Matsui, right? We saw that all of a sudden there was all this Japanese signage around the stadium. And if you remember at the old stadium before they moved to the new stadium, they put the little plexiglass out in left field and they started selling seats where you can sit directly behind Matsui, right? So like there are things that you can do to help generate revenue just on the back of that single player in a way that no other player, not even Judge. And Judge is close, right? Because you got the judges' chambers and shit like that. But I mean,
it's not comparable.
It's not comparable. It is not comparable. Agreed.
It's like I don't want to use it to this. It's like Messi coming to the US.
I mean, it's almost that level of celebrity.
Almost
it is
like that type of celebrity, but it's gonna you saw how much the ticket skyrocket. Like I'm just looking at that. Like the cheapest ticket before was like $46. And then it's like $350. So literally everything, all his merchandise sold out. Every stadium he went to sold out. So it's like, yes, you're gonna pay him 500 mil. Let's just put that as the minimum. But you're gonna get all of that back with all of everything else. And like that's how I feel like it's an investment more than anything. Yeah, like my concern with Otani is that I don't think like he's gonna pitch forever because we've never seen he's a unicorn. We've never seen this happen. So we don't know. Like everyone is taking guess as to like, yeah, he's gonna have surgery, he's gonna hit next year. But and then after that, like how long can he be a starter for? And then is he gonna go to the bullpen? Is he gonna be like a John Smoltz? Like, is there other things to do? But like you gotta pay him for it. But like I feel like everything else, he's gonna give you so much more money where it's gonna be all worth it. Like he's still young, he's still young.
To me, he is the most valuable as an everyday player and a fucking mid short reliever because he can impact. Think about how many games he can impact offensively every single game, and then how many games he could get into if he's only got to worry about throwing an inning in or two, coming in the 7th or 8th or the 9th, right? Like, I mean, if you put him in that fireman situation or a closer situation, I mean, I think he's worth over 750. I thought if he didn't get hurt, his number started at 7. You had to start the number at 7. So we'll see what happens. But I think to me, the prospect of putting him to the bullpen makes him more valuable, not less.
But I think either the Cubs or Dodgers. That'll be my pick. But I think it's gonna be the Dodgers because they have money they're willing to spend, and besides, like, which is crazy to think about it, they got Freeman, Betts, like in and Otani. That would be just crazy to have those three right there. Like 3 are the highest paid players. but like because everybody else they come off the books.
Yeah, and I think both of those markets are right in terms of likely landing places, and both of those markets are markets where you're never going to get booed. You're never going to get the fans are never really going to turn on you, right? Like the LA Dodger fans, are just notorious for showing up in the third, leaving in the seventh. They don't really care, and the Cubs, they care. They're just they're just really good fans. They're just a great fan base. They understand the game, and they just they're well, maybe I'm thinking about the Cardinals. I think the Cubs may boo a little bit, but not to the level that you would see here in New York, right? And so, all right, so that is our baseball segment. But I did want to segue because we're talking about booing and we're talking about soft athletes and how they respond to the booing. So I wanted to switch gears here. Thank you for the MLB talk. I just got a couple of more topics, and then I'll let you gentlemen go because I've kept you here over an hour. So I appreciate you rocking with me this long. Greg Popovich, a couple of I want to say about a week or so ago, his Spurs were taking on the Clippers, and Kawhi Leonard, a member of the LA Clippers, famously, obviously, a member of the San Antonio Spurs for a long time. I believe he won a championship there under Pop. Returned, and the crowd was letting him have it a little bit, as you do when players return and they're killing your team. You kind of let them know, hey, we loved you before, but it's wartime now. It's just standard fan shit. But Pop had a different take on it. I want to play some audio, and I want to kick it to you, gentlemen.
Johnson.
Let's start that again.
Now goes on Keldon Johnson. Kind of a delay here. But when you have a game like this,
Kawhi's at the line, and he's getting booed.
Given the schedule that's upcoming.
So Kawhi Leonard is shooting free throws. He's at the line. I don't want to put the video on the screen because then they copyright me and they strike me down and this all type of shit. So I'm trying to just see if I can get through with audio here. So bear with me, gentlemen. But Kawhi Leonard is at the line. You can hear the crowd kind of giving it to him, booing him because they want him to miss the shot. Standard NBA shit.
I'd like to put this far out of reach as soon as you can. I state the obvious.
It's the first shot.
Do give some credit to Greg Popovich's Spurs, who have bounced back.
Popovich walks over to the scores table, grabs the mic.
Excuse me for a second.
It's Pop.
Can we stop all the booing, let these guys play? It's got no class. It's not who we are. Knock off the booing.
Listen to how the crowd responds to that, by the way. Now, I like Coach Pop. I think he is an all-time great coach, regardless of any sport. I'd put him up there with any head coach, manager in any of the major sports. Obviously, his track record is undeniable. But in that moment there, I think that was the softest thing I've ever seen from a professional coach, to get on the mic and admonish the paying fans who, they weren't chanting asshole. They weren't throwing things onto the court. There was nothing egregious, nothing over the line. It was just, hey, this guy's at the free throw line. I want him to miss the shot. Boo. And you heard what Pop took. I think that's soft. I think he was out of line. He needs to shut the F up. What do you think, Juan?
No, I agree. That's it's soft because in New York, we were like in New York, that shit, we do that stuff on the regular. Like, when Trae Young killed the Knicks, we would boo him.
We do that to our guys.
Yeah, and we do it to our guys. But like, I feel like the Spurs fans feel a little salty because Kawhi didn't want to resign. He demanded the trade. He went to Toronto, won the chip, and Toronto wanted to sign him, and he didn't want to sign there. And he went to LA, and he signed with the Clippers. Like, yeah, you have to respect Kawhi's decision. He wanted to go where he wanted to go, and he left when he wanted to leave. Teams do it all the time to players. When they don't want you, they don't want to resign you. They let you go. They trade you for nothing when you still have whatever still left in the tank. What Pop did, Like if they were throwing shit, then I would have been like, hey, this is uncalled for. I've never seen this actually. I never heard of this actually happen in a game. It sounded like it was like a high school game where they were like,
Yeah.
people throwing stuff on the field, and then like, oh, hey guys, we're gonna cancel this game if you keep throwing stuff on the field. But like, it was just booze. Like, come on, man. I'm sure Kawhi, the funny guy, he's heard a lot worse, and it doesn't really bother him because
I'm sure Kawhi's been booed before.
Yeah, he's won 2 chips. He's been the guy everywhere. He just didn't want to stay in San Antonio, and they booed him for it. Yeah, but like now, because of Kawhi not being in San Antonio, look who they got this last year. They got Wemby, and he's gonna be one of the top 5 players in the next few years. And he's just a beast. So it's like it's a blessing in disguise. So it's like, all right, you lost Kawhi. He gave you his chip. You guys had a dynasty. Now y'all could be ready to turn the leaf and start something new with Wemby.
Yeah, for me, it was just more like, yo, I think Pop, San Antonio loves you. You are the GOAT over there. But that was just like out of pocket for a sense. Like, you literally had the balls to walk over to the table, grab a mic, and be like, mid-game, yo, we don't do that here. What you mean we don't do that here? He ain't paying for those tickets.
And we do that here because I'm going to boo you.
Else.
I'm booing you now.
Yeah. I'm booing you. True, they booed him too. But I'm saying, like, Juan, you said, like, here in New York, we boo. Everywhere in the NBA does that. Like, college basketball boos louder than that, So, yeah, that was just weird to me.
Yeah, that's just a wild thing. And, Pop is one of these guys that is outspoken, right? I mean, if you've ever heard him speak on social issues, right? Like he's not shy to share his opinion. He's one of the guys that likes the sound of his own voice. Who am I to judge? I'm sitting here with a fucking mic and screaming into a camera, right? But he's one of the guys that likes the sound of his own voice, and he is not shy about letting his feelings be known. But I think to admonish paying customers, right? Like it ain't cheap to go to an NBA game. It is not cheap to go to an NBA game. Even if you're in the bleachers, you're bringing a couple of people with you. You're a couple of hundred in. Yeah, I'm gonna boot a guy that didn't want to play for my team anymore. Sorry, Pop.
And you're booing an all-star. It's not like they're booing a 16-year-old kid.
They don't boo nobodies.
Yeah,
right. They don't boo nobodies. All right, so let's stay in the NBA because the NBA is wilding right now. So we had that, and so Josh Giddey. So I don't know how much folks know about Josh Giddey. I had never heard of him. Obviously, he is a super talented young player. I think he's a guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But I'll read a little bit from an article that I plucked off of the internet's here. So last Thursday afternoon, a post to X, formerly Twitter, by anonymous account included 2 videos and a photo of Josh Giddey posing for a selfie with a young girl. The post has since been deleted, said that she was a junior in high school. The caption on the actual picture, apparently written by the girl in the photo, said something like, "I just fucked Josh Giddey." And the pictures, I'm going to keep it 1,000. I'm going to keep it 100. Looks like 2 people who had smashed or are smashing or have that type of intimate relationship. Now, the post also said that she is a junior in high school. It's worth noting that Giddey is currently 21, and it is unclear. I want to shoot him some bail here. It is unclear when or where the images were taken. And I do also want to point out that in the state of Oklahoma, the age of consent is 16. Yuck. So the NBA is investigating. Giddey has declined to comment, but he has remained active, and he is in the lineup tonight for Oklahoma City as they are taking on the T-Wolves in that stupid in-season tournament. And I don't understand the in-season tournament.
Yeah, let's not even get to that.
But yeah, I mean,
soccer.
But yeah, I don't understand it. They put the stupid colors on the court. I don't understand it. But fact of the matter is, He's remained active in the lineup, and folks have criticized the NBA for the way they're handling Josh Giddey versus the way they handled Ja Morant and Kyrie Irving when they had their scandals last year, where both of their scandals pale in comparison to what Josh Giddey is accused of. We don't know whether he's guilty or not, but what he's being accused of is worse than what Kyrie and Ja was accused of, and yet both of them missed games. What do we think about this situation? I'll start with Juan.
Man, this is. I mean, again, you mentioned the two players. It comes to race, like if Josh Giddey was black,
I've been trying to throw the race card all show too. Somebody threw that. I was trying to throw it.
It's like if he was black,
Fact.
we wouldn't be having the same conversation. He'll be having this. He'll be paid with
He'd be on administrative leave.
Yeah. So it's like he's an Australian kid. He's pretty good. Like he's a good guard. But it was like once I'll just bring it. Like we mentioned this in the chat earlier. I was like, what happened with Wando Franco? Like he plays. He's a shortstop for the Tampa. Well, he used to play for the Rays, and basically he's superstar. Like one of the top shortstops or his top players up and coming. And he got caught, like he was with a minor, and he's from the Dominican Republic. And basically, once the story broke out, they suspended him, and then they pretty much gonna release him pending investigation. And that should happen in like June. Meanwhile, like the Rays were one of the best teams in baseball, and they let go of one of their best players, like without even thinking about it. Spanish kid, he was white. We don't know what would happen in baseball. They have like a strict like policy on a lot of stuff with domestic violence and things like that. So they kind of like lay down the law. Basketball is different, white kid, he Australian, still white, in my opinion. And they're still pending this investigation, but he's still able to play. That's bullshit. Like you're supposed to suspend him. If you want to suspend him with pay, then that's fine. But like you got to figure out what this is a crazy ass allegation. This is not like, oh, he got a DWI or like he was, speeding or reckless driving. Like this was like basically rape. It was rape because it's not, no matter the age it is considered rape. And you cannot be associated with those type of players, and you have to like, show save face and like just cut ties until, he's innocent. Look what happened with. Okay, we're speaking baseball. Trevor Bauer, like it's not the similar situation with a minor, but it was something where she said she was on consensual sex and it was rape, and they cut ties with him in a heartbeat, and he lost out on fucking $40 million. Like, and he's been blackballed or blacklisted from Major League Baseball since then, and that happened like 2 years ago. So, and he's white, so like it's crazy like that happened with him, but. In this situation, nothing's happened, and it's just, I guess, I don't know why NBA hasn't, hasn't done anything yet.
For me, it's just wow.
I really quick before you jump in, just to the NBA's credit, they are investigating.
Yeah, but I think for a league like the NBA that likes to put themselves as very like, liberal, if you will, they haven't done anything, and I think just the allegation alone. And an investigation could be done while this dude's sitting in his hotel room or in his house. So that's my take. I mean, Kyrie sat down because he suggested a Amazon documentary.
Right, a link, and I mean he got a whole list of demands that he had to meet before he could play, and then Ja Morant missed games for exercising his Second Amendment right. Now look, he was reckless. With the little stupid gun, he had that little deuce in the club and pointed out. I don't know, that little gun that he was holding, the way he was holding it was the most non-threatening brandishing of a gun that I've ever seen. Like, I mean, I might punch you in the face if you come up to me holding a gun like that. Like, I'm not gonna respect that at all. So, I thought they were a bit heavy-handed in both of those situations in the NBA. And it is a bit curious that like I could understand wanting to exercise caution because he has not been officially charged with anything, but I think it would be appropriate to say, hey, you know what? Take a seat with pay, but take a seat right now until we figure out what's going on. We're gonna do some investigation. I need you to take a seat. We're gonna pay you because you're not charged with anything, but right
They
now
don't
you've
look good.
got these nasty allegations. I can't have you representing my organization, and I'm shocked that they haven't done that. Shocked.
Yeah,
But
and do you think this is mainly just because it's basketball, or like, or is race? Because if you look at like football, they don't really play with like any of that. Well, domestic violence, almost across all the sports, there's really like they don't play. They hand out suspensions almost immediately. But like with things
Mhm.
like this, like you think that the league has a there's different criterias or different ways we view each league, meaning the three major
you
sports,
know,
American sports, in baseball, basketball, football, as to like how they handle these situations.
I
yeah,
think
I
so,
think
Juan. But which makes this even more bizarre that the NBA isn't doing anything about it just yet. Like they're gonna let him play while they do the investigation. And I get it; he hasn't been charged with anything. Doesn't sound like the girl is saying anything else, right? It was just a post.
right. It was just a post, and then it got taken down, and it's kind of been radio silent ever since then. But to your point, Adi, I mean, the NBA has always been more so than MLB and the NFL. They have always been the brand conscious league, right? Like, I mean, we remember when David Stern used to, force Allen Iverson to wear a suit because he didn't want him on the bench when he wasn't playing in jeans and a do rag. So, the NBA has always been brand conscious. So for a brand conscious league like the NBA to now, kind of just be like, hey, we're gonna take a wait and see approach. And I understand the questions about, hey, would this be happening if this was, a black player versus an Australian kid. I understand that take there, and I can't refute it. All right, so staying in the NBA, last point here, and then we will wrap it up here. Thank you, gentlemen. We are at damn near an hour and a half. So thank you to everybody for rocking out for the second installment of Nighttime with Napo Live. Again, I am recording an episode, our third episode of the Hello, Can You Hear Me pod this week. So we got a lot of shit to talk about. And again, it is not just sports. It's not just battle rap. It's going to be all that. I imagine we'll spend some time talking about Diddy and all of the nasty shit that he's got going on in this week's episode. So please stay tuned for that. But staying in basketball, Mark Cuban, brand breaking news, hot off the presses. Mark Cuban is it has just come out that he is selling his majority stake in the Dallas Mavericks to Miriam Adelson, and who is a casino tycoon, or the Adelson family is a casino tycoon. The deal values the team at around $3.5 billion, and the thing that stuck out to me and everybody else is, although he is relinquishing, so he's selling his majority stake in the team, he is retaining full control of basketball operations. It is worth noting that Cuban bought the team in the year 2000, for $285 million. So he's turning $285 million into $3.5 billion while still retaining control of the basketball operations. And Juan, you brought up something in in the group chat where you were like, why would he do this? It doesn't make sense. He's got bread. Well, I would say 285. If I could take 285 M's and turn it into 3.5 B's, I'm going to do it every day of the week, right? But here's something else, right? So I mentioned that the Adelson family is a casino tycoon, right? Like they own a bunch of casinos throughout the nation, right? So here is I want to read an excerpt from an article that says Dallas Mavericks owners Mark Cuban hasn't been shy about speculating about the future home of the NBA team he owns. Now, this article was dated a couple of months ago. While the Mavericks currently play in the American Airlines Center, about a mile north of downtown Dallas, Cuban envisions the team's future digs as a bigger and grander destination than just a simple arena. Cuban now sees the Mavericks Arena as a potential economic driver for the city and state, as the centerpiece of a Las Vegas style casino and resort located in the heart of Dallas. Quote, my goal, and we partner with the Las Vegas Sands, is when we build a new arena, it'll be in the middle of a resort and casino. Cuban told the Dallas Morning News. That's the mission. End quote. So I think that puts a little bit of context into why he made this deal. Um, he obviously is now bringing in an influx of cash into the organization, and I think it kind of supports his vision for the organization while he gets to retain control of the basketball operations, which is something he absolutely enjoys. He enjoys kind of being the the head day to day operations basketball dude there. So, what do we think? I mean, 285, 3.5 billion. Um, this is crazy.
I think it's crazy. It's a dope flip. Um,
It's a
Also,
flip.
the family is the Sands family too. Like they're the ones that own the Sands, I guess casinos or hotels and whatnot.
Voila.
So, but my thing is that yo, if he's about his plan, right, and he's gonna have a bag regardless, and I think the fact that he keeps being the basketball operation, I think it's the mission according to him is going according to plan,
Yeah.
and now he just got his secure bag, and with them coming in, it's no brainer, right? It's gonna happen. They're gonna build,
Yep.
and
They're
I
gonna
think
do
they own
exactly what
other
he wants.
teams too as well.
Well,
So
and here's the wild part. So I'm reading a tweet from my man Joe Pompolino, and he says this Dallas Mavericks deal is fascinating. The Mark Cuban turns 285 M's into 3.5 B's and maintains control, which is unprecedented in sports. In return, the Adelson family gets a discount on an asset they'll own for a long time. Feels like a win-win. Now it sounds weird to say paying $3.5 billion for an asset as a discount,
to
but
us,
I do want to note that I believe the Phoenix Suns just recently sold for $4 billion. So the idea is that the Dallas Mavericks should be valued a bit higher than that, or at least on par with that. So there is a bit of a discount that they are getting there. What do you think, Juan?
Oh, so basically, like they're not worth the 3.5; they're worth more, and he sold it to them cheaper to secure the
Because
bag and basically
and
keep
he gets to
it.
retain control.
and to
Yeah.
secure his dream or his
Right.
mission.
Exactly.
So I mean, yeah, I can. It's smart. Cuban is obviously he's a smart entrepreneur. He's always about like the hustle, and I love what he's like. I mean, I'm a huge baseball fan, but like I follow basketball a lot as well, and I feel like he's one of the best owners. And all the stuff like I've always seen with the players when they're doing interviews, like they say,
They fuck with him.
this has like the best arena for visitors, and like the players there, they say they have everything. Like when they go into their locker rooms, just with the amenities, the fucking PlayStations, everything they have available to them. The food is like one of the best teams to play for. So it is basically like playing for Google. Like Google is the place where everybody want to work, and
Yep.
like Dallas is the place where everybody wants to play because of like what they have, to offer for you. So and then like with him staying there, that kind of keeps that I guess like work environment. And then now where these guys are gonna build basically a casino and basically replicate Vegas, the like Las Vegas the Raiders like arena, then that's a win-win as well. But then like
Sheesh.
I don't know if maybe I'm just thinking like if like I know that the NBA has always been trying to expand, right? Do you think there's a possibility that like Cuban he sold his share so like that he could be part of a new team to like bring somewhere else a team to maybe to Vegas, or like I know there was talks about Seattle and like other places to expand the league. You think that's be a possibility?
I think I think he's thinking a bit bigger than that, right? I recently read that he's also leaving Shark Tank. So I know he had a big stake in that. So he's no longer with that. Honestly, I think he is setting the path for some political endeavors. So I think you may see Mark Cuban run for some sort of office here in the next 5 years or so. Um, that's my take. I think he's kind of dipped his toes in that. I know he was a staunch critic of Trump. I'm not sure exactly where he leans or lies politically. Whether he doesn't seem overly left or overly right, which I think is pretty um, rare in today's media climate. So I think that is kind of where he's leaning towards jumping into politics. So I don't know if he wants to get bogged down with owning another team. I think he's got some bigger aspirations, and I think this brokering this type of a deal is kind of a feather in his cap. Where sort of like where when Trump was able to say, "Hey, look at all the business things that I've done," you know, Cuban can kind of point to something actually tangible and profitable, and say, "Hey, this is what I can bring to the table." So I think that's his ultimate goal.
That's a good take.
But all right, well, gentlemen, that is it. Is there anything else burning on your hearts or souls that you want to get out here? Any takes that are just eating up that you need to get out to the world here?
My Giants suck. The Jets
Facts,
suck. New
facts.
York needs a winning team.
Sheesh.
That's it, bro.
That's a fact. Shout out to the Liberty. They won a conference championship, so shout out to the Liberty. But they definitely got the what was it the extendo strap on put on them in the
Hey,
finals.
yo.
I mean that shit was crazy. Wait, is that a pause? That can't be a pause, right? Because I
No,
guess
not a pause. That's a.
no, but it can't.
That's right.
But no, but it might be a pause because it's woman on woman. I don't know. It's Harlem
No,
math.
yeah, let's not.
I don't know. I can't do Harlem math.
We hit the 130, bro. We
Pause,
hit the
right? Yeah.
130.
All right. So yeah. So look. Thank you, Juan. Thank you, Adi. Thank you, anybody who tapped in with us live. Thank you for anybody who's going to tap in and watch this at a later date, whether it's tomorrow or a year from now. Definitely appreciate it. And we will be back with more installments. I'll definitely have these gentlemen back, and we will do it again. So once again, this is Eddie Knapp. Nighttime with Napo. Gentlemen, stay on when I end the stream. I just want to make sure that everybody's audio properly records. So we out of here, man. Peace.
Peace.
Love, 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 love.